Well, this is Sandy Earl again, and I am going to talk to you about the exam taking software that we have. We use this exam software called Examsoft, which is handy, isn't it? And there's a piece of Examsoft that's called Examplify, and Examplify is actually the testing environment where you actually take the test. So we're going to talk through how these work, how you take exams. So Examsoft, as I said, is the overriding system. You need to go here for your how to actually download Examplify. So you'll have both of the Examplify actually on your computer, and your exam results will be in Examsoft. You'll get emails from Examsoft when your results are available, and you'll be able to see those then. But you'll actually be taking your exams in Examplify. So that's nice and confusing, isn't it? So how does it work? The faculty make an exam. So most of your courses are team taught. So all the different faculty will submit their questions, make the exam. Usually the instructor of record, which we call the IOR, who's in charge of the course, will then upload the exam, which means I'm not a computer person, but to me it goes up in the sky, and then at whatever time they set, which is usually just about 15 minutes before your exam, sorry, the you'll be able to download the exam onto your computer. So you'll download the exam onto your computer, and it'll stay there nice and secure until you get the password to open it. So you'll get the password either from your instructor in the classroom if you're a campus student, but if you're taking the class remotely, you'll get that password from your live proctor. That will then open your, in Examplify, it will open the exam so you can take the exam. So you take the exam, and then when you complete the exam will close, and you'll get this green screen that tells you that it's closed, and it will be uploaded again back into the sky off of your computer so that the faculty can grade whatever you did. So then your exam will be graded by the faculty, and then you'll get your exam results in your Examsoft account. Okay? That's my technical explanation because I'm not really a computer person. So this is what your Examplify account will look like. Once you make your Examplify account, you can see this is mine. And I have this preview mock quiz in my queue ready to be downloaded. And then I can just click on here and it will download the exam for me. You're also going to notice you have a home menu here that has some choices that you can look at when you get your Examplify account. And there's also some notifications that I want to show you. Well, notifications will just tell you if there's a new thing you need to know. Sorry. Once you've opened your exam, you're going to get a board that looks like this. This is before the exam starts. It tells you a little bit about the exam settings. This quiz that I'm taking is non-secure. Most of your tests will be secure, which means you can't look at anything else on your computer. Your computer's locked out and not communicating with Wi-Fi. This shows you how much time you have to complete the quiz or exam. This shows you that we need your Wi-Fi on, and you can go back and forth. So some exams, and I think the NAPLEX pharmacy boards are this way, that you have to just keep going forward. You can't go back and look at questions again. This shows that you can go both backward and forward. Shows an instructor name, a post ID. I don't know why you'd need that. This shows that the spell check is on. The copy and paste is on, calculators are on. So these are tools that you can use. Usually we don't have these on if we're not having any, essay questions. There also may be a pre-assessment note. So there might be a note to you to remind you of things before you take the exam. Exams are timed, but pre-assessment notices will not count toward your assessment time. You may or may not have a pre-assessment notice. Be sure to follow what's ever on there very carefully. It's to remind you of things. So when you when you open your exam controls will have a few things here. One is showing that you have an exam attachment. So like for my exams, I have an equation sheet that apply to all the questions on the test, and that will be called an exam attachment. This is to show you that there is an exam attachment. Don't miss it. Click on it and you can open it. They're also this is the pre-exam notice that's maybe telling you to remember to check your answers and good luck. It might just be a good luck thing, or there might be some other important thing on there. This also allows you to submit your exam. Again, it reminds you that you have an attachment, and don't forget to access it if you want to. Now, that all happens before you actually start the exam. And then here's where you click here and say, yes, I'm authorized to click the exam, and I'm going to start the exam, and I'm going to click this and then start my exam. You can also go back if you need to. Again, I guess this just shows you what I just showed you. Oops, this didn't turn out the way I wanted to. All right, so here's also you have this toolkit. I'm sorry, this is what I want to show you here, this toolkit. Your toolkit in your test. So this goes along with all of your test questions. You can always access this toolkit. You can always access the exam controls, which will take you to your equation sheet or whatever might be attached to the exam. All right, going back to the toolkit. Once you open the toolkit, you'll have 3 tabs here. One is for what they just call tools, one has calculators, and one has a place for notes. So when you click on the tools, this will show you your timers, how much time you have remaining in the test. You can add alarms. So if you want to be told when there's 10 minutes left on the test or anything else like that, you can add that. If you want to adjust the text size, you can do this here. And you can also get other exam documents if there are any. And then you can close the toolkit here. So now we're going to go over to the calculators. There may or may not be calculators on your exam available. You have 2 different types of calculators. There may even be more scientific calculators here, but again, you have your calculators available as well here in your toolkit. And finally, there's 2 views here, a keyboard friendly and a classic. And then finally, we have notes. In the notes section, notes section are really important. This is a place people get disappointed when they don't have paper to write everything on, that they might want to write down things that they need to remember. Here's where you can write all your notes out, all your thoughts. If you want to just write down things, or if you want to write a note to yourself, I need to think about this thing, or I've thought through this much of the question. I now need to remember what, a specific thing that I'm trying to figure out. So any notes you want to make to yourself. The other thing is this is a place to communicate with your instructor for that question. If you had a problem interpreting the question, maybe you felt like something was missing from the question, or maybe wanted to say what your thoughts were and why you answered the question this way, you can put this in here and request feedback, and we will look at it. If it's just notes to yourself, that's fine too. But if it's a note to the faculty, you want to request feedback, or write in here, request feedback, and we will review all the notes as part of our grading process. So if we can't answer your questions in the classroom, or obviously online. If there's a problem with the question, you need to tell us here so we can review it after everyone's taken the test. All right, so once we get into the questions, I want you to know that you can flag a question. So let's say there's a question you really want to come back to. You can click this and flag it. Whoopsie. You can also click this and highlight things if you want to, and erase things. So again, students get, it's hard to get used to taking computer exams if you're used to taking paper exams. So here's, a way to highlight and flag things. You'll have a lot of multiple choice questions. This little eyeball, you can click on these and so let's say you decide for sure the answer is an A or D. You can click these here and rule those out so that you can just think about these two and then narrow it down to the two so that you can come back to it maybe and it'll come to you. Once you're done, you close the exam. If you goofed it up, you can always return, but here's how you close the exam. And then you click here that I confirm I've completed the exam. Make sure you check and make sure you've answered all your questions and submit the exam. And then this is when you're gonna, if you are working with a live proctor or a live instructor in the classroom, you need to make sure that they see this green screen before you end your session, either in the classroom or with the live proctor. This is called the green screen. This shows everyone that you have uploaded your exam so you can no longer work on it. So a couple rules of the road. Like I said, we do not answer content questions during exams. If you're in the classroom and are having trouble with your Examsoft, getting into the exam or something, we can help you with that. But we can't help you with questions you might have about the questions. If you have a concern or a comment about a question, please express it in the notes on that question and click the feedback box. The faculty member who wrote that question will read and consider your concern. Sometimes I go back and give bonus points if I say, oh, I can see what you're thinking there. I don't think you're correct, but you were on the right track. I might give you partial credit or something. We do not usually give exam questions back. When your graded exam is returned, it will list only the question title. The title should give you a good indication of what you need to work on if you missed it, or what you know if you didn't miss it. We ask the faculty to write that descriptive title that includes the skill or concept needed to answer the question so that you can determine what you need to work on, whether you're doing well or you need to go back and get some things improved. You can review your whole exam in a controlled setting with your professors. This will be particularly important and encouraged if you've done poorly. You'll have an exam window. You'll only be allowed to upload your exam during that time period if you're a distance student. Obviously, in the classroom, you're going to have to finish it in the classroom. Usually they're a 90-minute exam, and the exam window for our distance students is 6 p.m. to midnight. So you must complete and upload the exam before midnight. So even if you, some students get time and a half. So instead of 90 minutes, you'd have 135, I think that works out to be. So you can't just start your exam by midnight Eastern time. You need to complete it. It needs to be done and uploaded by midnight. So make sure you consider any time extensions that you have, accommodations that you have, and you need to upload it by midnight or 11:59 Eastern time. Also, you're responsible for keeping your Examplify up to date. It's important to check this and update it before you get into rounds of exams. We usually give exams. You'll see that we get on a schedule with the exams. You need to make sure you keep these uploaded or up to date. I think that's it. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for your attention and have a great semester. Good luck. And let me know if you need anything. Thanks.